Is there any requirement that somebody might need to be first in an international school so that you can do this application?
No, not at all.
So you can just be from any normal school, you are a teacher, as long as you have the
Any
qualification?
normal school, provided you have the qualifications, and especially if you're a math science teacher. It's easier for math science teachers because they normally have a big need for math and science teachers, and also English teachers. Those teachers who maybe are interested in teaching elementary school, and they have been teaching elementary school, if you have the qualification, which is the degree. Because I know some colleagues who teach Kiswahili because Kiswahili is not being offered on this side, or CRE, that is not, mainly religious studies are not offered here. So that means the colleagues who teach those subjects, some of them come in as elementary school teachers. That is, if you've been teaching in an elementary school and you had a degree, you can always come to teach in an elementary school. And one interesting thing I've learned is the pay, unlike in Kenya, the pay here is really dependent on, is the same, whether you're teaching middle school, elementary school, or high school.
So the pay is
the same.
not
It goes
so much
with
different.
It goes with the years of experience that you have and your qualifications, more of.
And are these opportunities like for somebody, you are a high school teacher? What about like somebody who's a primary school teacher?
Yes, for primary school teachers, provided they have a degree. The minimum requirement is that you must be able to have a degree.
Okay.
So I know in back home, most people don't tend to have degrees in primary. A few do. So those who have the degree, the minimum requirement is you must have a degree.
And a 3.0 GPA.
And 3.0 GPA. So if you have the degree and you have that, regardless of where you're teaching, because I know there are colleagues who have done early childhood development, that is ECD, and they have done a degree in that, and they are teaching in elementary school, so they can come here. But they are teaching in nursery school, but you have your degree, you can come. The other main requirement is you must be teacher certified in Kenya. You must have a TSC number.
All right, so you have to have.
So you cannot switch a career like I did, because I switched to get and I went back to school to train as a teacher. So I was registered. So you must have your TSC number, you must have your degree, and then you should at least demonstrate that you've been teaching for more than 2 years.
Okay.
Because that experience is really needed. I know people will say, why do I have to wait for 2 years? It's good that you must gain the experience, because you're going to go direct into the classroom.
Yeah.
And they don't want to start teaching you again how to handle the students.
Yeah, and there's this GPA part where somebody did not get a 3.0. Have you seen like people who did not get a 3.0 but they got to come as teachers?
Okay, I do not know of any specific cases right now, because one thing I know is they will take a different exam, which I think is called the core practice exam. I don't have much information about that, but it's something maybe that I can go check, then maybe you can share.
All right. So
link.
Because when you're evaluating these transcripts, for your case, I was thinking maybe somebody can, if you got a lower GPA, you can try to do like the postdoc, whatever. I'm not sure like if it can work, but maybe it can, like you can go and do which one did you do, like the 1 year?
I did the PhD in a postgraduate diploma.
Postgraduate diploma. Okay.
Yeah, because the reason I had to do that was to get the educational units for me to be able to be qualified to be registered as a teacher.
Okay. Yeah. Somebody may be curious also, like the way I'm so curious. How expensive is this whole process?
Okay, that is the other thing.
The amount, now the figures, because we are talking about money.
That is the other thing, because you really have to do some good savings, and also maybe get some good friends or family to support you, because I think it's the upwards of, before you get out of Kenya, it's the upwards of 600,000. Yeah. Kenyan shillings. Yes, that includes the flight.
Okay, now let's leave alone the flight. Maybe I don't need you to break down like the real figures. Where do you need money?
I think more from the evaluation,
Evaluation,
the exam, the visa.
the visa. So
then,
up to that point, let's leave it like up to that point. So if you are approved for the visa, so up to the visa, like how much do you think like somebody can have?
150 to 200.
150,000 Kenyan shillings
Yes,
to 200.
to 200.
But I think,
and again, it varies because the time I was doing it is different from now, and it might also be the costs vary from individual to individual because as much as the evaluation fee is the same, I am meant to understand that there are various nurses bodies, like various agencies. The exam fee is the same. But again, the dollar and versus Kenyan shillings, they keep on changing.
yeah.
So that is another thing that will also affect how much you'll pay at what time. And then also whether you have all the documents needed, because you have to maybe also factor in the expenses of trying to follow up for certificates and maybe getting your passports. If you didn't have one for your dependents, if you have dependents. But if it's an individual, single person, then it'd be like you need that 250 to 200. Yeah.
So like, but if somebody is, sometimes you don't need to have the whole money.
Yes.
Have the money for the first step.
Yes, that's why I said you can take the exam, one exam at a time.
Yeah.
And actually, it's I'm talking of that amount, but it's spread out. You are not required to give it
at once.
And normally, it's very easy once you get the job to try and convince one or two people. And again, not to make it a community thing, because if it doesn't work out,
then you're in trouble.
You'll be in trouble. Because again, you'll have to try and explain to everyone why you took the money and then you never left or something. So that is normally the tricky balance. You have to know